Think AI site generation is exclusive to builders like Elementor or Bricks? Think again. See how to leverage Hermes and ChatGPT to generate a WordPress site built with native Brizy components, keeping your final build lightweight, modular, and effortless to edit. My name is Ariel, and today I'm going to show you how I used Hermes and ChatGPT to build a 100% native, fully editable Brizy website on WordPress. Let's start by going over my tech stack. For this experiment, I'm using Laravel Herd to build the website locally. I'm also using Table Plus and DB Engine to manage the database. You can also use other local development tools, such as Local by Flywheel or SAMP. In my case, I prefer Laravel Herd because it's already installed on my PC, and I don't want to install any additional tools. For this blog, I'll only be covering the basics rather than going through a full step-by-step tutorial. The main goal is to demonstrate that, just like with other page builders, AI agents can also be used to build Brizy websites and pages using native Brizy Builder elements. The best part is that these pages remain fully editable within Brizy Builder, so you can continue to customize and modify them just as you would with a website built directly in Brizy. I'll also build everything locally instead of on a live or staging site. This gives me a safe environment to experiment with AI without affecting a live website. Once everything is working properly, I can then migrate it to a staging or live environment. Let's start by creating a new project in Laravel Herd. I'll call this project Paw Friends, but you can name it based on the website you're building. When creating the project folder, avoid using spaces because Herd will use the folder name as the domain name. For example, since my website is called Paw Friends, I'll name the folder Paw Friends. This means Herd will automatically use pawfriends.test as the local website URL. After creating the project folder, the next step is to install WordPress. There are several ways to do this. You can download WordPress directly from wordpress.org, extract the files, and place them inside your project folder. In my case, I already have WP-CLI installed, so I'll use it to download and install WordPress instead. WP-CLI is very handy here because it lets us download and install WordPress directly from the command line, making the process much faster and more convenient without having to manually download and extract the WordPress files. Now let's open our local domain and phpMyAdmin so we can start configuring WordPress. To open the local site, go to Sites in Laravel Herd, select the project, and click URL. This will open a new browser tab with our WordPress site. We'll use the same approach to access phpMyAdmin and create the database. I've set up a separate local URL for phpMyAdmin, making it easy to access whenever I need to manage the databases. Now let's log in to phpMyAdmin and create our database. I'll name the database Paw Friends, then click Create. Once that's done, let's go back to WordPress and continue with the setup. Enter the database name, username, and password, then click Submit. Next, let's fill in the site title, WordPress username, and password. For the password, I'll use the automatically generated one and copy it to the clipboard. Then, I'll enter an email address and click Install WordPress. Once the installation is complete, let's log into our WordPress site using the credentials we just created. Since I already copied the password to the clipboard, I can simply paste it into the password field and click Login. Next, let's clean up our workspace. I'll hide the Laravel Herd dashboard, close Windows Explorer, and move the terminal to the right side so everything is organized and easy to access. Then, let's clean up the WordPress themes by deleting the default themes and installing 2021. I prefer using this theme because it supports the classic WordPress menu system and works well with Brizy. Next, let's clean up the WordPress installation by deleting the default posts, pages, and pre-installed plugins. This is important because we're starting with a clean WordPress environment. Removing the default content and unnecessary plugins helps avoid clutter, reduces potential conflicts, and makes it easier to see exactly what is being created by Brizy and the AI agent. After cleaning up our WordPress site, let's install and activate Brizy. Next, we'll install Brizy Pro and activate it using the license key. For now, I'll keep the number of plugins to a minimum and only install and activate Brizy Pro. This keeps our setup clean and helps us avoid unnecessary plugins that could interfere with the experiment. Now let's move on to the most exciting part, running Hermes. We'll launch Hermes from the terminal using a command that loads the Brizy WordPress design skill. This allows Hermes to understand how Brizy works and how its native elements should be used. Once launched, Hermes will automatically inspect and audit our WordPress installation, giving it the context it needs before we start building the website. If you'd like to try this yourself, let me know in the comments. I'll share the instructions and resources you need to set up the Brizy WordPress design skill in your Hermes agent installation. After the audit is complete, let's start the Hermes agent again so we can begin building the website. For this demonstration, I'll be using a prompt that I prepared with the help of ChatGPT. If you'd like a copy of the prompt, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to share it. Since this YouTube channel is still new, I'm not able to add links just yet, but I can provide the prompt directly through the comments. Now, let's copy the prompt and paste it into the Hermes agent terminal, then press enter. As you can see, Hermes is now starting the process of building the website. We no longer need Notepad, so let's set that aside and arrange the terminal and browser windows side by side. This will make it easier to monitor the agent while also seeing the changes being made to our website. This process can take some time, and you can see the elapsed time displayed at the bottom left of the Hermes agent terminal window. I fast-forwarded this part of the video since the process takes a while. If you're enjoying the video and finding it helpful, please leave a like and subscribe to support my new channel. At this point, I started getting a little impatient because nothing seemed to be happening on the page. So, I decided to open a new browser tab and visit our local URL. To my surprise, the website had already been built. Some pages were still being generated, so it looks like Hermes was continuing to work in the background. I have to say, I was really impressed with the result at this point. The color scheme looked great, and Hermes had already added images, content, and other design elements to the site. It was exciting to see everything coming together. Okay, while Hermes is still working on the unfinished pages, this is the moment of truth. Let's see if the pages it generated are actually editable using Brizy Builder. Let's go to Pages, open the home page with Brizy, and inspect the content to see if everything was built using native Brizy elements. We'll start with the hero text. I'll increase the font size using Brizy styling options, and as you can see, it works perfectly. The navigation menu, the cards, and their icons are also all native Brizy elements. There's no custom HTML automatically generated anywhere on the page. Everything is built with Brizy's native elements and remains fully editable within the Brizy Builder. Let's also check the tablet and mobile views. As you can see, the cards need some work on tablet, the spacing is cramped, and there isn't enough gap between them. The mobile view also needs some adjustments. The cards don't have enough padding, and the icons are positioned too close to the edges. So while the pages are fully editable with Brizy, we still need to make some responsive design adjustments to improve the layout on smaller screens. To fix these responsive issues, let's see if Hermes agent can handle the adjustments with a simple prompt. I'll enter the following prompt. Please also fix the padding in the tablet and mobile views. Make sure the assets and elements have enough padding and spacing between them, especially the cards. Then, press enter and let Hermes make the necessary adjustments. While we're waiting for Hermes to finish, let's also work on the team page. As you can see, there are currently 4 team members, but we only want to display 3. Before we update the block, let's make sure the image files have the correct names so they match the names shown on the team member cards. Open Windows Explorer and rename the image files accordingly. This will make it easier to identify and use the correct images when we update the block. Okay, after a few minutes, Hermes has finally finished correcting the responsive issues. It now reports that the responsive spacing and padding have been corrected across the Paw Friends site, along with a detailed list of improvements made throughout the website. Imagine having to make all of these adjustments manually on a large website with more than 20 pages. That could be a lot of work. Now, let's switch back to the mobile view and check the results. As you can see, the cards now have proper spacing and padding, and the icons are no longer pushed up against the edges of the cards. Everything looks much better. However, we still have an issue with some of the cards. As you can see, the first card is missing its icon. To fix this, let's try another prompt. In the home page, under Why Choose Paw Friends, the first card, Vetted and Insured Walkers, is missing an icon. Please fix it. Then, press enter and let Hermes make the adjustment. After a few minutes, Hermes provides a detailed list of the changes it made. And as you can see, the missing icon is now visible. The response time for making these updates is a bit slow on my PC, so if you have a more powerful computer, the process may be faster. Now let's go back to the team page so we can update the team member cards. Here, we'll replace the existing team member icons with actual photos and remove the last card, leaving us with 3 team members. Before entering our prompt, let me open Windows Explorer so we can easily copy the image file paths later when Hermes needs them. Next, we enter the prompt. In the team page under different strengths, 1 shared care standard, please remove the last card, Theo Martinez, pet sitter, and in the 3 remaining cards, please replace the icons with the corresponding pictures found in. Let's copy the path of the files in Windows Explorer and paste it into the terminal. Resize the images as needed. If possible, create a circular mask in the images. Ensure that the photos have enough margin and padding and don't overlap in mobile and tablet views. What happens next is that Hermes will upload the team photos from the folder where they're saved into the WordPress media library. It will then add those images to the corresponding team member cards in the team section. As you can see, it looks like Hermes is rebuilding the entire page, even though we're only making a few small changes. When I refresh the page twice, it briefly shows an empty page, but reloading it again fixes the issue. Now we have only 3 team member cards, and if we resize the page, you can see that the cards are also responsive and adapt properly to smaller screen sizes. It looks like we have another issue. The hamburger menu alignment is slightly off. We'll fix that later using another prompt. In the meantime, let's check the media library so I can show you the team photos that Hermes uploaded. Remember, we didn't upload these manually. We used a prompt to instruct Hermes to add the images to the WordPress media library. As you may have noticed, there is a slight delay before Hermes reports the changes it has made. It's now showing the details of the recent updates to the site. It lists the JPG files that were uploaded and confirms that the photos were cropped and resized. It also added responsive image margins and adjusted the card padding. Before we continue, if you've made it this far and are enjoying the video, please support my new channel by giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Now let's fix the alignment of our menu items in mobile view. Let's use this prompt. In mobile view, after clicking on the hamburger menu, the menu items are centered and is not looking good. Please set the alignment to left, set the left padding to 20px. Let's give it a few minutes to complete. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. As I mentioned earlier, making these changes can take a few minutes. Once it's finished, Hermes should provide a list of the changes it made. As you can see, it's now reporting that the menu items have been left aligned, with 20 pixels of left padding applied to each menu item. For our last update, we have another small change to make. The contact and book a walk pages are essentially the same, so this is a good opportunity to test whether we can remove pages using a prompt. Let's try this. The contact and book a walk pages are the same. Delete the book a walk page and link the book a walk button to the contact page. Again, let's give Hermes a few minutes to complete the changes and wait for the summary report. Once it's finished, we'll check the site and confirm that the book a walk page has been removed and the menu item is no longer there. Well, I thought that was going to be our last change, but it looks like we have one more issue to fix. Some of the icons are still missing, so this will be our final prompt for today. Make sure that all cards in all pages has icons. Before we press enter, let's quickly check the rest of the pages first. We'll go through a few of them to see if there are other cards with missing icons. This will help us confirm that the issue isn't limited to just one page before we let Hermes make the final changes. Okay, Hermes is still working in the background, and as we've seen earlier, there can be a delay before it reports the changes. While we wait, let's inspect the different pages and check whether the cards now have their icons. This will give us a chance to see if the updates are already being applied before the final report appears. Let's refresh the current page. As you can see, the missing icon is now visible. Let's check the other pages as well, and it looks like everything is now working as expected. To wrap things up, this experiment shows just how useful AI agents can be when building a Brizy website. Instead of manually creating and adjusting every page, we can use an AI agent to handle many of the repetitive tasks, make changes across multiple pages, upload images, adjust responsive layouts, and even remove or modify content using simple prompts. What's especially interesting is that the pages we created weren't just AI-generated HTML. The website was built using native Brizy elements and widgets, which means we can still open the pages in Brizy Builder and continue editing them just like any other Brizy website. In this demonstration, I used Hermes Agent, but Hermes isn't the only option. Other AI agents with similar capabilities can potentially be used for the same type of workflow. The important thing is that the AI agent understands how to work with WordPress and Brizy's native elements. So AI doesn't necessarily replace the page builder. It can become another powerful tool that works alongside it and helps us build and manage websites much faster. And that's it for today's demonstration. I hope this gave you a better idea of how AI agents can work together with Brizy to build and manage websites using native Brizy elements. If you found this video helpful or interesting, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more Brizy, WordPress, and AI tutorials and experiments. And if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.